Good morning. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, all of my lovely students who have joined me here in the studio. My name is Erin. Welcome to Mystic Fitness, and I'll be guiding you through your class today. So allow yourself to rest at any time. Please skip any postures that don't feel right for you this morning. Don't even overthink it. Just skip whatever you need. You're also welcome to add in other variations of postures if it feels right for you at any time. So we're going to begin today lying down. So find a comfortable place to recline. And you can just let yourself either lay long, but more than likely that might feel a bit uncomfortable. So if you do notice that lengthening your legs long down your mat has brought any discomfort to your body, then it might feel better to let your knees be bent. Even just taking the feet to the floor. Letting your knees maybe knock in gently towards each other if you're in this position. We're just going to start to take some nice, easy inhales and exhales through our noses here. Let your eyes close. Try to relax your eyebrows and forehead. And relax your jaw. And bring some awareness down across the neck into the shoulders. And let's lift the shoulders up gently off the floor. Move them a little bit further away from your ears, and then just gently place them back down. Allow your hands to face open towards the sky, and your fingers will just naturally curl. It's taking some deeper breaths now into the belly and letting it go. Noticing any thoughts that are trying to draw your attention away from the breath. And then just simply release them. Not reliving any parts of your morning or anything that's going on later on today. Just allowing yourself to sink into a sense of bliss and a sense of peace. And we'll take one more soft inhale and exhale. Inviting more power into the breath now. Let's inhale fully into the belly and into the chest. And to exhale, lightly begin to draw the pelvic floor up and squeeze the belly slightly inward. Inhale, relax that effort. And exhale, just inviting a slight engagement of pelvic floor and deep belly. Let's get several more this way. Big breaths in. And stronger breaths out. Practicing to get our Mula Bandha activated, that's our pelvic floor lock, and then adding on that abdominal lock or the Uddiyana Bandha. These two together will make us stronger from the inside out, helping us stand nice and tall. It'll also help with all of your balancing postures to engage and bring awareness into these areas. Take just 4 more of these. Subtly but strongly engaging those deepest core muscles. Last 3. Last 2. And 1 more. Nice. Let's relax some of that effort. Just breathe naturally in and out through your nose. Doing so with awareness. Maybe just a slight contraction on the exhales. Or you can take them nice and passively, just like the in-breath. Let's all take our right hand here and place it over the heart. The left hand places over on top of the right. And just send yourself a little sense of love here with your healing hands. And then we'll unite our voices and souls together in the sound of Om to start our class together. Let's take one cleansing breath to prepare. Deep breath in. And release. And inhaling for Om. Have a great class, everybody. Let's start to draw knees in towards the chest and just wrap your arms around your shins or hold on to your shins if you can't quite reach. We'll just start to subtly rock a little side to side and just allowing your back to flatten out into the earth. Head is resting, tailbone is drawing down. You might let your head rock a little side to side if it wants to join in. And we'll drop our feet to the floor here and just lift the right leg up to the sky. Grab a hold of the thigh or up towards the calf. We're just going to rotate the ankle around a couple of times in one direction and then the other. And continuing long, slow, intentional breaths. And then as you're ready, you might still the foot. And keeping the knee bent, just very gently start to draw it slightly closer to you, ever so slightly. Also kind of pressing the hip down into the floor, so we're continuing to keep the back nice and long. Take one more breath here. And let it go. Switching sides, we'll let that foot come down. Left leg comes up to the sky, gentle bend in the knee, holding on somewhere, wherever you can reach. Stirring the ankle around, you can point and flex, or wiggle out the toes, whatever you feel needs a little bit more love and opening here. And then at some point, we'll start to draw the leg just very slightly closer. Maybe your knee is bent a lot. Even a 90-degree bend in the knee is fine. Drawing the hip down into the floor to help soften the back body into the ground, and a very subtle stretch through the hamstring there. Good. And then we'll drop that leg down to the floor, and we'll come into a few rolling bridges to start to warm up through the spine. Hands right alongside you, and ankles are just under the knees or slightly further away. Let's take an inhale to rise up one vertebra at a time. Doesn't have to be that high. And then exhale, we'll roll slowly down. Inhale, lift all the way up as high as you can go. And then exhale, roll it down. And we'll continue. Now, when I say as high as you can go, I don't mean stretch and press and strain. But I just mean let it slowly warm up in its own time. So each roll might go slightly higher, but if you're not ready for that, no worries. We'll take two more here, rolling up, and then rolling back down. Last one, let's roll it up, and roll it down. And we're coming up for one last one. Let's roll it up. This time you might extend the arms back behind you. You can just let your arms rest to the floor. So they might open up a little wider, allowing your shoulders to kind of open as if you were trying to spread the shoulders away from each other. Just like if you were working that downward facing dog, but here we're just relaxing to let that happen. Continue to engage the pelvic floor to help support the lower back here. Taking a nice long stretch through the front side of the body. Two more breaths. And if you prefer to let your hands come alongside you, they certainly may. Take one more here. Last big inhale. And then as you exhale, we'll roll our way back down and the arms will come with us. We're going to take our knees into the chest just briefly, give it a little squeeze, and then find a tabletop position on your back. So we will bend the knees, stack them right over the hips, and the shins are parallel to the floor. Let's take our hands up towards the tops of the legs as we find our tabletop press. You might want to flex your ankles here to make this a little easier. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we start to press the thighs into the hands and the hands into the thighs. Now you need to engage pelvic floor here. So we're taking that natural curve out of the low back, and you make this as hard or as easy as you want. But I really want to let you feel that pelvic floor, low belly muscles starting to tremble and work here. One more round. And then we'll just back off, knees to chest real quick, just to give yourself a squeeze. Coming back up here, knees stack again over hips and shins parallel to the floor. Let's reach the arms up towards the sky. Starting to warm up as if we were doing our balanced table flow, but we are just on our backs instead. So take a breath in. And as you exhale, we'll extend the right leg long, and then the left arm's going to reach back behind you. Try not to let the other leg move, or arm, and then come back up. Now let's switch. Left leg extends, right arm reaches back, but the key is not to let that other knee move, and come back to where you started. Let's get a few more of these. These are our dead bug. Well, I kind of think of it as a bug trying to struggle to get back up. So we've still got some life in our bug here. So we're extending one leg and one arm. Other knee tries not to move. And come back up. And we're just going to get two more on each side. And back up. And extend. And back up. And one more each way. Doesn't look like a lot, but it's a lot. I can feel this too. Last one. All right, beautiful. Take the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And then we're going to make our way up into tabletop position here. So you can either roll forward and back to get there, or just roll off to the side. Doesn't matter. And we'll come on up. We'll take the hands right underneath the shoulders or slightly more forward if that's better. And the knees will come just underneath the hips. Scoot some of this stuff out of the way here. All right, so I'd like you to really squeeze that pelvic floor in. Lower belly is strong. We're going to take the right knee and lift it out to the side. Flex the ankle. Keeping it high, try not to let yourself shift over so that you're putting pressure on the outside of the left hip. Try to keep that leg nice and straight. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, kick the foot to the side, and it's just as high as you can get it. Inhale to bend it, and exhale, kick it out to the side. One more like that. Inhale there, exhale, kick it out and hold. And then we're going to drop the foot gently down. Let's inhale all the way up to stand on the knees. As you exhale, side bend over to the right. As you inhale, back off a little, bless you, and exhale here. Every in-breath might open up the heart and expand a bit. Every exhale getting into that side bend. One more breath in gate pose. Good. Now we'll inhale up through center. As you exhale, we'll start to find a modified side plank, drawing this hand either to the floor or maybe onto a block. You can reach that arm all the way up overhead. So now we're bringing the side bend into the opposite side. 2 breaths. Trying to make sure that top shoulder is not crunching the ear. So you need to rotate it down and back a bit. One more round. Good. Let's inhale back up to the sky. And then exhale, taking it back down to tabletop position, and we will switch that out. Taking the opposite leg, left leg out to the side, bend your knee, flex the ankle. Notice that you're not shifting the weight over towards the right leg, nice and straight. Take a breath in there. Exhale, kick it, side kick, squeeze glutes. Inhale, bend. Exhale, press it out. One more. Press it out, pause. It's as high as it can be for you today. One more round. Drop the foot down, toes point forward. Inhale, lift up to stand on the knee. Exhale, over to your gate pose to the left. Every inhale might roll that top shoulder open a bit. And exhale. Last two. Gaze can be up, forward, or for extended foot. Let's inhale up through center. Exhale, making way to modified plank, taking arm hand to the floor. Other arm reaches up by the ear. Roll the shoulder down. Nice stretch here. Couple of breaths. One more round. Final round. Nice. Let's inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands down, coming back to tabletop position. Just kind of wagging out anything that we've got left there, shifting hips side to side, stretching down through the side ribs, right down towards where they attach into the hips. Let your elbows bend a little bit there. One more breath or two. Nice. Let's make our way up into downward facing dog. Engage all 10 finger pads to the mat. Curl the toes and start to press the hips up and back. We'll bend one knee at a time as we warm up through the back line of the body. You can even take your feet totally up off the floor, so really walking the dog instead of pedaling the feet. Let yourself just feel it out. So there's no right or wrong way here to move. You do want to try to roll your shoulders away from each other to avoid pinching the neck and to help strengthen and stretch all at once through the upper back and shoulder area. One more round like this. And now we'll try our first waved plank. That should help you find a more stable plank. Let's give it a try. We'll inhale, bend the knees, lengthen the spine. The belly already begins to engage here. Exhale, lift and curl, roll, activate deep, deep core. Now we arrive nice and long and lengthened. Squeeze the glutes, lower belly draws in. We stay for a breath in and a breath out. One more breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Thighs, belly, chest, finding cobra here. Inhale, tuck chin, lift your chest. Exhale, roll it down. Press tops of feet to the floor as you move. Inhale, lift up, roll up. Exhale, take it on down. One more like that. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Let's come back up to cobra. Pause there for a moment. And then exhale, take it up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's come to the top of the mat now. Bend your knees, look forward. And as you exhale, we'll just simply walk the feet up as many steps as you need. Inhale for your half lift, belly strong. Exhale, soften it down. Maybe you shake your head out here. Any thoughts you have still milling around in there, just going to fall out. And just let the earth absorb any worries, any stress, even any plans. You can always dig them up later. Leave the ones that we don't need to dig up just really buried beneath. Take 3 breaths in and out. Option to just let your forearms come onto the thighs as well with bent knees if it's feeling a little too deep. Last breath. Nice. Let's inhale here. Half lift, belly strong. Really feel the engagement. Exhale, bow it down. Extend to extended mountain. Rise up, lift up. As you exhale, we draw hands to heart, pelvic floor, lower belly. Draw inward. Beautiful. Let's float together. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bow to earth. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, let's find down dog. Plant the hands, walk your way back. Waved plank, bend knees to prepare, inhale. Exhale, curl, roll to plank. Arrive there stronger than ever. Stay for a breath. One more in-breath. Exhale either to the floor or knees down, chaturanga, squeezing and pausing lifted. Inhale, up dog maybe, or high cobra. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths in and out. One more. Traveling forward, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Exhale, step the feet forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, soften, fold. Coming to chair, inhale, bend the knees, hips back, and then lift your way up. Shoulders are going to draw down. So every time we arrive up in a standing place, we then remind the shoulders to draw down. If you feel as though you're sticking your butt out a little bit, you want to just find that nice neutral spine so we're not tucking or arching, just finding that nice neutral place. You can always move your feet around or wiggle it out if you feel like you need to adjust. Never just staying completely still. Micro adjustments happening here. Last 3. Last 2. One more. Ooh, you guys are strong today. Beautiful. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, let's soften and bow it down. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, down dog. Here we come. Hands plant. We'll step it back. Waving again. Inhale, bend knees, prepare. Exhale, weave your way into plank. Stay in high plank, coming into a side plank. Drop your heels to the right, and then lift the left arm up here. Option to take the bottom knee down like we did in the beginning. 2 breaths in. One more. Good, let's come to center on the inhale. Exhale, heels to the opposite side. Right arm lifts up. Option to drop bottom knee. Breathe in. And out. One more. Big inhale. Exhale, back to high plank. And press it back, downward facing dog. Good, let's take the right leg high to the sky as we breathe in. Exhale, knee into the nose and pause. Step to your right hand. And if you do have your block, you're going to put it right underneath your left hand here as we open our way up into a runner's twist. We're going to find a little movement here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, hand reaches back, back knee dips. Inhale, arm circles up and around. Exhale, it comes back and down. Let's make our circling hand our drishti, or our focal point. So just watch it as it flows around, warming up all the leg and the core muscles, and getting rid of any cobwebs, tight fascia up in the shoulders and neck. And then the next time the arm circles up, we're going to really just reach it up, find your twist, maybe pressing away from the block with your left hand, so barely any weight at all there. 2 more breaths in. And out. Last one here. Finding crescent lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms up and lift the body up. I'm going to find some cat-cow arms here. Our crescent arms. What are these? These are goalpost arms. Thank you. Inhale, open up here. And exhale, curl. Staying mindful, not letting your brain get ahead of itself. Inhale, open up. And exhale to curl. Last one. Come back to high lunge. Shoulders roll down. Feel front spine nice and strong. One more round. For warrior two, we will drop the left heel now. Open up. Inhale. Exhale. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Stay here for a breath, maybe bringing your gaze to the back foot. One more breath in. And as you exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands to the front foot. Step it on back. Downward facing dog. Stay there or add your rolled plank. Inhaling, bending. Exhale, curl and wave. Inhale when you arrive. Exhale, chaturanga or the floor. Knees can stay lifted if you wish. Shoulders stay higher than the elbows. Inhale to up dog there. Exhale, engage the low belly to pull the hips up and back. Let's try the left leg sky high, breath in. Exhale, curl the knee in, pick the hips up, then step to your hand. Block underneath right hand if you're using one here. Left arm reaches to the sky for runner's twist. Take a breath in to reach up. Exhale, hand circles back, back knee dips. We'll inhale, circle up and around. Exhale, back and down. Really tune into the inhales and the exhales. Let them be the music that drives your flow. One more breath. Back to the twist to hold, arm stretches up. Really squeeze front spine, drive through the back heel so that you might be able to take a little more weight off the block or the floor here. Another breath. One more. Inhale to crescent lunge. Arm might circle back and then forward. And then we find our cactus arms and a slight bend in the back knee. Inhale, open the arms, extend the leg. Exhale, curl, lower belly hugs. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. So you decide how much movement in the back leg. Last few. Last one. Lift back to crescent, arms up. Shoulders draw open. Back knee can be a little bent. Still drawing up here. Feel how it helps protect that low back. One more round. Warrior two. Right heel drops. Open on up. Stretch super long through the fingers. Press the balls of both feet to the floor. One more breath. Flip the left hand, inhale, reverse warrior. Stay for a breath. Try not to crunch down into either side here. Last breath in. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to the front of the mat. And step it on back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. And let it out. One more. Let's look forward, take a breath in, bend your knees. Exhale, walk or try a hop to the front of the mat. Inhale for a half lift there. And exhale, drop it down to fold. Let's rise, inhale, sweep the arms, lift the heart, the soul to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, so from the top of the mat, we're going to take our feet just hips width apart and begin to find that squeezing of the low belly. We're going to balance on the right leg here. Hands can begin at hips. You can also take them to prayer, wherever. We just want to make sure the hands are somewhere. Start to lift the left knee, flex the ankle. We'll take the arms up overhead maybe. Reach them up, but then draw the shoulders down a bit. We're going to practice stepping from here into our lunge super duper slow. Take a breath. As you exhale, fly through airplane. Maybe just pause in it briefly. Land the toes to the back of the mat. Sweep the arms up on an inhale. And then exhale back down, shoulders drop. Let's try it again. Let's inhale, come back up to lift the knee forward and up. Exhale, fly it back slowly and then land it. Inhale when the arms come up, and exhale, just open up the shoulders. One more time, at your own pace. Inhale, take the knee forward and up. On your exhale, we fly it through airplane. You could stay in it for a moment, up to you. It lands at some point. Arms come up, and then we will just open up and pause. One last breath. Let's come back to our warrior two briefly on the right. Drop the left heel and open up. And then pick up the right toes, pivot on your heel. So you're now facing the long side of your mat. We're going to come into our goddess pose here. We'll take the toes out. Start to sit your hips back a little bit, maybe even taking your hands a little bit onto the thighs. We're going to add a fire twist in here. I'm just going to pop over here for a second. I think the camera can still see me, and you guys can see me a little better. So with the toes out, let's find our flame mudra. All of the fingertips come together. Let's inhale and stretch up tall. Exhale, sit and twist to the right. Hug low belly in and up. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sit and twist to the other side. Let's continue these, moving at your pace. Every time you sit and twist, we hug the low belly in and up. Last two each way. One last one. To the right. And one last one to the left. Let's come back up straight legs, then back to goddess. Now we're going to take thumb and forefinger together, elbows draw out to the side. Finding those cactus arms, but adding our Gyan mudra there with the thumb and the forefinger drawing together. Still lifting and activating up through the low belly. Maybe setting the hips back slightly. You want to make sure knees point the same ways as your toes. Last two breaths in and out. And in, and out. Stay with me. Inhale, come about halfway up. Exhale, slide it back down. Two more like that. Inhale, slide halfway up. Come back down. Last one. Slide down and pause. Holding for one more breath in this position. Nice. Let's come tall. Inhale, straighten the legs. Arms reach up, and now the edges of the feet are parallel to the edges of the mat. We'll reach the arms out to the side here for 5-pointed star. Take a breath in, lift your heart. Exhale, bend your knees, and let's find our wide leg fold here, just taking it down. Let your head be heavy. You shake it out a little. It can be nice to just shake the head when you're upside down this way, because it can release any tension that you're carrying without any weight on the neck. So it's just kind of weightless here with the head just hanging. Take another breath here. We'll start to add some side lunges in here. So let's inhale, find a little length and a half lift so the belly's strong. And then we'll exhale, bend the right knee and just send the other leg long. And inhale as you crawl your way up through center, and exhale to the other side. Now as you're taking these side to side, if your toes start to turn out a little bit, totally fine. Just let your knees go in the same direction as the toes. Toes are either still pointing towards the long end of the mat or slightly outward. If you'd like to make this more of a strengthening move, you can lift all the way up with your hands reaching up and then exhaling into a lunge on one side and then the other. Taking one more round each way. Good. Make your way back to the middle in your half lift. Pause in half lift. Let's squeeze low belly. Take the hands to the hips as we maintain this. And then we'll inhale and press all the way up to stand and rise. Picking up the right toes so we can go back to warrior two. Bend your knee. Check in with the knee and the toes. Make sure they're the same way. Check with the back foot. Should be in line with the front. And then we'll spread our wings. Try not to grip with the toes. Edges of the feet nice and strong. Flip the front palm. Inhale to sweep back. Exhale, coming to extended side angle briefly. Grabbing the block that hopefully is nearby there for triangle. Set your hand onto it right under the shoulder. And then begin to straighten out the front knee. You don't want to hyperextend and lock it out. So there's a slight bend in it. Reaching other arm to sky. One more. Last breath. Let's inhale up through reverse warrior, sweeping all the way up and back, front knee bends. Exhale, cartwheel down, downward facing dog. Step it back. One breath. Let's start from the top. Inhale, look forward, knees bend. As you exhale, you walk or hop. If you're hopping, use low belly to lift up. That'll slow the legs down for you. Inhale, halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands draw to heart. They either stay there and press actively, or they now draw to hips as you continue to feel strong and tall. Bouncing on left leg, right knee comes up. Take your time. Eventually the arms might reach up. They could stay at hips. Take a breath in. Exhale, let's explore, pressing back through airplane briefly. And then landing in Crescent Lunge. When you're ready, you'll reach the arms up and then soften the shoulders to land it. And then we practice that twice again. So at your own pace here when you're ready. Inhaling, back knee lifts forward and up. Exhale, we practice slowly pressing back to land. Arms reach up, shoulders open up, belly scoops. Last one. And your arms can kind of do whatever they like here to help you. And press back. And we land. And we made it. And we stay. One breath here. For warrior two, briefly, back heel drops, arms spread. Pick up the left toes, pivot, and so you're back in five-pointed star. We're skipping goddess on the side, taking arms out to the side, interlace behind. Inhale, give yourself a moment to roll the shoulders down, even move the head a little bit. Stay here as you press up very tall, extending through the front, no pinchiness and low back. On your next natural exhale, we'll bow here, softening the knees, and then shooting the hips back. Once you're down here, if you realize that your hands are not happy interlaced, feel free to bring them to the floor. You could always hold on to a strap or a belt or a towel. Anything that can make the distance between your hands a little greater is going to make it a little easier for the shoulders. We'll just stay here for a few rounds. Three more here. Two. And one. Coming up on your inhale, press to your feet. Rise up, pressing the floor away and activating belly. And exhale, we'll drop the hands. We're coming back to warrior two on the left. Pick up the left toes, point them towards the short end of the mat, spread your wings. Flip the left hand up, inhale to reverse. Exhale briefly, extended side angle. And then we find our block here, whatever height you like, has three heights. Begin to straighten the knee. You don't have to settle on whatever height you started with. You could always make it higher or lower. We're trying to lengthen both the underside, low ribs, and the whole top ribs that are reaching up towards the ceiling here. Just staying in the pose, staying in the breath, getting a full experience here. One more round. Inhaling, reversing warrior, bend left knee, sweep up. Exhale, cartwheel it down, and step back, downward facing dog. Big breath in, and out. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Exhale, walk or float the feet to the front. Inhale, halfway, bent knees a little. Exhale to fold down. Let's inhale and rise. And then pause, hands to heart. We've got one more standing sequence to go here. If you need to take a little break and grab water or a towel down, you're more than welcome to. If you don't need anything like that, let's just stand in mountain pose for a few moments. Feet grounded. Let's set them up here, parallel to the edges of the mat, just under the hips. Light engagement of the belly once you arrive there. Shoulders have dropped down, just like we set them up from the beginning, palms forward. One more breath here. All right, so now we're coming into eagle pose. We're going to balance on the left leg first here. Let's take the arms up on the inhale. And as you exhale, arms swing out to the side. Then the right arm comes under the left. We're going to wrap the arms around. Either just the backs of the arms touch, hands touch. You might need to hold the shoulders. Start to find chair again. Squeeze low belly, pelvic floor. Sit the hips back. Then as you're ready, right leg is going to lift and come around and might wrap. So we're trying to keep the body pretty upright here. Nice natural extension of spine. 2 more breaths. 1 more. Good. Now we're going to practice stepping back again to lunge, keeping eagle arms. So we'll unravel the leg, shoot it back, maybe pausing in eagle warrior 3. And eventually, foot lands. This time we're going to let the heel land as well. So we're in our warrior 1 feet now. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale out and around. Reach them back just like we did in our wide fold. Inhale, open up the chest. And as you exhale, we will hinge forward for humble warrior. Big breath. Two more. Front knee might bend a little more if your hips are ready. Let's come back up to warrior 1. Inhale, press to the front foot, engage belly. Arms release once they get up there. Then we take the right arm back underneath, eagle arms. And we're going to try to step all the way back into eagle. Bring the weight a little forward. Pick up the back foot. Might need several little taps. And eventually, we'll try to re-wrap and sit. Breathe here. One more. Good. Let's unwind. Inhale. Everything unwinds. Arms up. And exhale. Soften the legs. Fold down. Let's have a nice, beautiful little ragdoll here. You can hold opposite elbows. Your ragdoll might sway. Or it might just hang. You want to make sure you don't feel any pinchiness, any pressure in the lower back. You might need to bend your knees a lot. I tend to bend mine enough so that I can just let my chest rest on the thighs there. Take another 3 breaths. Another 2. And 1 more. Releasing your grip. Inhale, rise all the way up. Feet should be placed under hips. Keep the arms up, coming right into eagle arms here. This time we take the left arm underneath the right. When you're ready, squeeze pelvic floor, low belly, hips sit back. Taking the left leg up and gently wrapping to eagle. Don't have to catch the back of your calf with your foot. Your foot could dangle or even take the toes down for a little kickstand there. Guys look fantastic. One more breath. Practicing that step back lunge. We're going to unravel the leg. Keep arms as is. Press the foot gently back through in warrior 3 with eagle arms. We will then let the toes land. Heel will land also this time. So warrior 1 feet, hips point forward. Inhale, arms unwind and reach up. Exhale, out and around. Pause here. Make sure shoulders, hips both point forward. When you're ready, we'll inhale to open heart. Exhale, hinge with a long spine to bow. Once you get there, then you can tuck round a little. Maybe you play around with a bend in the front knee. Maybe coming a little bendier, but you won't want to go any more than 90 degrees there. Last 2 breaths. One more. Good. Back to warrior 1. Release hands. Inhale. Press all the way up. And we're coming back to eagle arms, taking the left arm, right arm up and under. As you're ready, back leg comes back and wraps, or not, tries to wrap. Squeeze the glute, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And let's come out. Inhale, unwind. And exhale, hands to heart this time. Beautiful job, everybody. We're going to make our way down to the floor. Just let your arms rest for a moment. And we're going to take it together through our last flow. Inhale, arms stretch tall. Exhale, bow down, knees soften, just fold it down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, taking it back to down dog for one last rolled plank here. Bend the knees, extend the spine as you breathe in. Exhale, weave and roll into plank. You're going to stay here just for a moment. Coming back into a variation of side plank. Let's lift the left foot up. So we're in a 3-limbed plank. Draw the knee in towards the chest and then try to slide it through. So now you are kicking it over towards the opposite side. Roll to the inner edge of the back foot. Peel your arm open. We are in our starfish pose here. Now, if this isn't working out, you can always slide that knee back down and come into your modified side plank we tried earlier, or just keep the foot extended back. Last breath. Come back to plank pose and back to down dog. Other side, bend the knees, inhale, wave into plank. We're going to lift the right leg back, so 3-limb plank. Then curl right knee in. Stick it through to the left, edge of the foot lands. Roll to the inner edge of the back foot. And then peel the left arm open. Not working out, you can just take the bottom knee down and foot stretches back behind. Last breath here. One more breath in. And exhale, hand down. Bring it back to downward facing dog. Final wave plank, bend your knees, inhale. Exhale, roll your way there. We're now just going to drop the knees and our whole selves slowly down to the earth. And just let your cheek face or hit the ground. Nose faces one way. And you can kind of just let your hips shake a little, rock a little on the floor, so you feel pretty comfortable where you landed. Maybe you bend your knees and shake the lower back loose just by waving the legs from side to side. And just turn the head to face the opposite way. Continue there. And we'll find our half frog this morning. So to find half frog, we're going to take the right leg off to the side here, and you want to draw your knee up as close to your shoulder as it feels okay. Maybe bringing a cushion of some sort under the knee. And just let your head rest on the floor or on your hands. If you're not feeling a stretch here, just put a little extra pressure into the right side. And then you can really face your head in whatever direction feels best. It can look down, or you can face in the opposite direction of your knee. Your option is available if you would prefer to take a full frog. I'm just going to show you this half frog today. Three more here. Two. And one. Very gently come out of this by just removing your cushion or block. Take the leg gently back. And then we'll just switch sides here. I always like to put something up underneath the knee just to protect all the tender little tiny bones and ligaments, tendons there. Let me just be. Maybe taking your belly a little bit flatter to the earth and pressing a little bit more into the left if you need a little extra stretch. Three more rounds. Last two. And one more. Okay, let's stretch that leg back very gently and slowly. And if you want to find any movement here, you can bend your knees, let your legs flop a little side to side. And we're just going to press our way up and back here into our child's pose. We'll spread the knees out, big toes together, and just reach the hands forward. Allow your forehead to rest. If it doesn't feel good to keep the knees wide and just fall down in between the thighs, then you can bring your knees together. You can reach your hands back to the feet. This is a very supported and restful version of child's, one where you can really just curl up. And just kind of fold back into yourself here. Last 2. And last 1. We'll be coming into a half pigeon this morning. However, if you would prefer to go on your back for figure 4 pose, it's very, very similar. And we'll have less stress on the hips and knees if you have concerns there. If you're coming into a full half pigeon, let's stretch back up into downward facing dog. We'll stretch the right leg up first to 3-leg dog to prepare. Exhale, taking the knee in towards the chest. You'll land that leg down. Back leg scoots down the middle of the mat. I always take a block, sometimes 2 blocks, to place underneath the right thigh. And before you bow forward, work your tall pigeon by extending that back leg back. And you're getting a nice big stretch in the front of the hip flexor there. And you might even just stay here if your body needs more of this. But the option is always there to, after you've found that nice tall alignment, to start to bow forward. And really bring your awareness into the hip joint here. If the hip joint is feeling like this is too much, just come onto your back, take your figure 4 variation. Same goes for knee joint. Any issues there, you want to back off a lot. Maybe come completely out. If you're feeling okay here, try to find more softness. Maybe allowing your forehead to rest on the ground or a block. Allow your heart to soften down. We'll take another 4 rounds wherever you are. Three more. Last 2. And 1 more. Good. Let's walk the hands back to the hips. Inhale, we'll lift the head and chest up. Curl the back toes, lift your knee, and we'll lift the right leg up and back to 3-leg dog. You might bend your knee to open up the hip, or just kind of bend and extend, shake it out, circle the knee, whatever you need there. Maybe it just wants to go straight back down to down dog. If you're on your back, you'll just simply switch sides as you're ready. From down dog, let's find the left side. Left leg stretches up high. Exhale, knee draws in and up. Drop it behind the left wrist. Find your support. Could be a pillow, rolled up blanket, or block. Thigh wants to try to line up with the long edge of the mat. Back leg long. Middle of the quad tries to point down. Extend up long through front spine. Really accentuate this nice tall spine first, feeling a stretch in the hip flexor. Maybe you decide this is better for more emphasis in the back leg, or for more emphasis in the front hip. Opening out externally, you will roll your way slowly down to fold over the leg. And then we just simply be. For 3 more rounds of breath here. Maybe noticing shoulders are tense. Relaxing them. Maybe it's the neck or the face muscles. And just keep all of your awareness on sensations in the body and the breath.
We'll start to make our way out now over our next breath or so. So whenever the time is right for you, the hands start to walk back to the hips. We'll peel back open up into our nice proud pigeon. Hands to the floor, curl the back toes, lift the knee, stretch left leg up and back. 3-leg dog, opening hip, shaking it out, or straight to down dog. Eventually, we all find down dog. If you're on your back, please stay there because we are all joining you. Now let's all make our way down. Knees can drop to the floor. We're just going to spin on over to come back to where we began. Knees come into the chest once you arrive there. Give yourself a squeeze. One more round. We started our class with some core work on the floor. We're going to end the same way. Different move though. So this time we're trying some eagle crunches. And we're going to start off the same way. Bend your knees, stacked right over hips, shins parallel to floor. Cross the right leg over the left, maybe so much that you have your foot wrapped behind the calf. Still keeping the shins or calves right parallel to the floor. Arms reach up, right arm under the left. Bend the elbows so your hands point behind your head. We're going to take an inhale to prepare. As you exhale, we crunch the shoulders and the hips up. And then we just keep going. So we crunch, release, crunch, and release. And we've got 8, 7. Use that low belly lift to squeeze the hips up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the crunch, no stress in the neck. And then release everything. Unravel arms and legs. Legs to chest for a moment for a quick little hug and squeeze. And then we'll just switch. Left leg goes on top of right this time. Knees stack again over hips. We'll take the left arm under the right, bend the elbows, press arms or palms together. Get ready, inhale. Exhale for 10 crunches. Maybe the exhales lift you, inhales lower you. Use that pelvic floor, deep belly crunch for 5, 4, 3, really internally lifting. Hold this last one. Hold, crunch, hold. Oh, feels good, doesn't it? Yeah, let it go. Oh, feet land to the floor. Knees are bent. Feet are at the edges of the mat. Arms out to the side. Let's just windshield wiper our wide knees. Side to side. Eyes closed. And then the next time that your knees land over towards the right, just allow them to land. You can either stay exactly where you are, or a couple of ways to change things up to get a deeper sensation of stretch right up at the top of the side, waist, and hip there. You can lift up the right foot and place it on top of the left leg. You can also reach your arms long and back behind you. Grab a hold of the left wrist and give it a little bit of a pull. Now if this feels way too intense, you can completely back off, take your arms back alongside you, and maybe just let both knees kind of stack on top of each other here for a more traditional twist with the knees and the feet stacked over each other. So that's 3 different ways that you can find this. And just take 1 or 2 more here. And one last breath. Good. If you still have your ankle on your knee, let's slide it off. And then we'll come back to the center on the inhale. We'll start with the feet wide here.
And then let the knees fall over to the left side. Maybe picking up left ankle, placing it on the outside of the right knee. You can reach your arms along behind you here. Grabbing hold of the right wrist and giving it a little pull, so it's just accentuating that stretch to the right side. Or if this is just way too intense, you can just take it into a very gentle twist by taking both knees gently over. So just stay exactly however you want to. Any variations of those twists as I just start to dim the lights here. And making your way out, if you still have your ankle on top of your knee, gently slide it off. And we'll lift the knees back up to the sky. We're going to take both feet down to the floor once again. Right leg lifts up to the sky, just like we started. Bend your knee a little bit. Walk your hands up towards the calf this time, if possible. Draw the leg a little closer. Big breath in. And out. Maybe just taking some notes on the difference between how this felt in the beginning and now. If you have more flexibility here through the hamstrings, you might choose to straighten out the left leg, making this more intense, as if we're in a split, but just laying on our back. On the next inhale, we're curling up. Tuck your chin and lift your head and shoulders, pressing your forehead up towards the leg. One more breath in. And out. Final inhale. And exhale, let the shoulders come down, and we'll take the right foot to the floor. Bend your knee. And let's do the other side. Left leg stretches up. Reach up towards the calf if you can, bending your knee as much as you need to, allowing the weight of your hands to sink your hips to the earth and maybe bring the leg a little closer. Option to straighten the other leg if it's available to you. You can always try and change your mind, right? Don't let fear stand in your way. Another breath. And then we'll inhale, tuck chin, lift with core strength, forehead towards the leg. Exhale, soften the leg to the forehead. One more. Last in breath. Exhale, let the shoulders come down, and we'll drop the foot to the floor. So if we have blocks, let's use them here. So I need to sit up briefly to grab mine. Take your block. I'd like you to lift your hips and bring your block just under your hips on the very, very lowest height. Now, if you don't have a block, you can do the same thing without a block, no worries. Let's now take the right knee into the chest, interlace your fingers on your shin, and stretch the left leg super long here. So we're in our wind relieving pose, but we've got our hips elevated on the block. That's going to create a longer opening in the front side of the body. Beautiful for the hip flexors. We're going to feel a nice decompression start to happen at low spine. Stay right here. And then a little trick that I learned to help any SI joint pain, or when that SI joint is just a little out of whack, we're going to tap the extended heel out and in 3 times. So we'll inhale, lift the heel, and tap it out, out, and out very gently. And then in on the exhale, in, and in. We'll do it twice again. And as you tap out, we're stretching it super long, and the same goes for when you're tapping it
in. 3. Just have one more. Tap out, 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 and in, in, in. One last moment. Squeeze the knee in. And then switch. So we'll drop that foot to the floor. Start to take the left knee in for your wind relieving pose. Interlace on the shin. And then once you've got that set up, you'll start to stretch the right leg long. Take a few moments to really just extend, flex right ankle, press through the heel, draw the left knee in as much as you can. Nice opening in the hip flex there. It's kind of opposite of a sitting position. And then we'll find our taps out to the right. Tap, tap, and tap. Long leg, taps in, in, in. 2 more. Tap out, out, out. Tap in, in, in. And 1 more. Out, out, out. And in, in, in. Last squeeze. Let's reach both legs long, both arms long back behind you. No effort, just let the block hold your weight. Deep inhales, belly to chest. And let it out. 2 more breaths here. Last few. You can stay in this little supported bridge type position if you like for another breath or 2. Whenever you're ready, we're going to start to make our way into Shavasana. So you can bring your arms back alongside, bend your legs with your feet to the ground, just so you can slide the block out of the way. And if there's any other moves that feel necessary for you before you're ready to rest, allow yourself to intuitively just go to wherever that is. And then once you're ready to find your Shavasana, you can either extend the legs long or bend your knees with your feet on the floor. Maybe you lift your shoulders up off the floor, slide them further from ears before you gently place them back down. Relax your forehead and cheeks. Let that sensation of ease pass through the neck to the shoulders, all the way down to your hands. Taking deep, long breaths in. And exhaling a wave of peace down across the chest, belly, and hips. Inhaling in some love. And exhaling, sending that loving, peaceful feeling all the way down across the hips, the legs, to the toes. As we simply lie here, surrounded by love and energy, allowing ourselves to be free of any responsibilities in this moment, free of all expectations, our own, the ones others may have, or the ones that we perceive others to have. Just let yourself be here, bathing in your own light and peaceful feeling of breath. You can continue to breathe mindfully, or maybe just allowing the breath to come and go. And if you encounter any places in your body where you're still holding tension, you still hold on to anything, just soften, release, finding nothing but openness and love. And we'll end our class here on the backs, just where we began it. But we'll start to make some very subtle movements here, just to gently reawaken the physical body. Maybe rolling the ankles and wrists, or wiggling the toes and the fingers. You might rock your head side to side if that feels good for you this morning. And then when you're ready, we'll simply place both hands again over the center of the chest, right across your beautiful heart. Bring your awareness to your heart center and allow your true heart to shine strongly from the hands to fill the room. And with the power of the heart and our deepest souls, we will once again close with the sound of Om. Cleansing breath, take it in. Release it away. And inhaling for our Om. Take our prayer hands now to our third eye, thumb knuckles pressing towards the forehead. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning and allowing me to be a part of a yoga practice. You all fill me up with so much joy. The love and the light in me deeply honors the love and the light in all of you. We'll close and honor each other with the word Namaste. Namaste, my yogis. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks, Facebook. Thank Instagram. Have a great day.